Hi everybody, it's Deborah from DBpsychology service. Social media psychology. So today, I'm going to be talking about deleting negative people from your life. It's a follow-up really from my discussion last week on negative thinking and negative self-talk. I firmly believe that if you have a lot of negative people in your life, or even if you have very one specific person in your life who's very negative, constantly, putting you down or putting other people down, or just very depressing to be around, then it is very hard then to delete the negative thinking in your own brain and delete that negative self-talk, because you have this constant daily reminder or near daily reminder of negativity. So negative people would be somebody who, they talk about themselves. It's always about them. It's about what's going on in their lives. It's always, how other people affect them. They're very soul destroying. I describe them as negative vampires in the blog, because they really do suck the life out of you and the atmosphere, around you, the environment around you. They really, really drain you. They can be very depressing people to be around. The one thing about them is, though, that they will latch on to somebody, and they or a couple of people that they have, and they will go to them every now and they will, they will dump everything, all that negative emotion onto you, onto, everything about their lives. And then they're quite happy to go off with their own life, and they're fine then. So, my first thing is, don't be afraid to get rid of these people out of your life, because they'll always have somebody else they'll go to. They're not going to be left. The other thing I would say to you is, this could possibly be a codependency situation. And I say that in that you don't necessarily have to be, related or married to an alcoholic. You could just have been brought up in, an addictive household. So you could have some, codependency traits, and therefore you can be a little bit maybe too sympathetic to these type of people, and maybe too attractive to them. They know they can take advantage of you. It's almost like the universe conspires to to attract these people into your life. So think about deleting them. It really is positive for your own mental health. You have to think about, is it worth it? Is it worth my sanity? Is it worth my, is it worth staying in the state in which they bring to you? This depression that they bring to you, is that worth their friendship or the relationship or whatever it is, connection you have to them, whether it's a work colleague or whatever, is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Or would you prefer to move on with your life and get rid of them? I very strongly suggest you get rid of them. So what to do? How do you do this? Well, the first thing I would do is make a list of every single person that's in your life. And I don't just mean family and friends, work colleagues, neighbours, anybody that you come into contact with on a regular basis. It could be a friend of a friend. It could be cousin, could be somebody, make a huge list. This has to be everybody. So take your time and really go through that list one by one. And every time you think of somebody, keep adding them to the list. And then the next step would be to go through those people, to go through the list and to have a look and see, is this person bringing joy to my life? Is this person bringing what I need to my life? Is this an equal relationship? Is this, as much as I give to them, they give to me. And I'm not, we're not talking about physical or, material things here. We're talking about as much, connection, as anything else. We're talking about a good relationship here, good boundaries. So, you have yourself, your basic foundations in place, your self-care and your good healthy boundaries. And when you're starting to develop those good healthy boundaries into putting it into the relationship, you go through those relationships and you say, okay, what is this person bringing to my life? And if they are people that are very negative, you put a mark beside them. Okay, you're for review. Do I need this relationship or not with you? And then I would divide them up into 3 categories. I would have the people that can go immediately. So they may be people that you can just eliminate. They're gone. You really don't need to have any contact with them anymore. My next group that I would have would be people that you'd like to ease out of your life, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult. This could be a work colleague, could be a neighbour, it could be a friend of a friend, it could be somebody that you don't want to kind of, you want to ease back a little bit. You don't want to, I wouldn't say cause offence, but you want to ease out of the life. You can't do the clear, you're gone. It's this second group, you just can't do it immediately. So in that case, you're going to do what you're going to do with the third group as well. Will be, you're going to ease back on the phone calls. You're going to ease back on any meetings you have with them. You're going to be too busy to be standing around talking to them. You're going to have your excuses ready and say, oh, I can't talk right now. You're going to have a list. It makes it a little bit easier if you're working and you have kids or whatever. It can be a little bit easier then to be seen to be a bit busy, particularly with children. Parents are always so busy, it can be easier that way, but don't worry about it. You can always think up of an excuse, any excuse at all to get away from somebody like that. If you just can't get away from them, then take control of how the conversation goes. And I would use this with the third group as well. Very much take control of, the direction the conversation goes in. Always have another change of subject. Now, this all takes time and practice. It's not going to work immediately. Particularly if you're not used to doing it. You are going to have to be resolute in saying, I am not having any more of these negative people in my life. And you'll be tested. So you have to keep at it, and you'll make mistakes, and you have to go, okay, you just don't give up. All right? Don't give up. Perseverance here is what you need. You keep going, and the more you do it, the easier it will get, the less guilty you'll feel, and it'll happen quicker. You'll be able to delete these people much quicker at the end. And you're getting practice in deleting people when it comes to the third group. The third group will probably be very much probably your family, or very old friends that you've had for a long time. And they will be your third group, and they, it can be very, very difficult to get rid of them out of your life. Sometimes you can't. You actually can't. The third group are probably people you can't get out of your life. Friends are easier, but family, we can't. Particularly if it's a parent, or a grandparent, or somebody, a sibling, somebody that's very, very close in terms of relationship. In that case, you're going to have to very much take charge of when the calls happen, when the meetings happen, what you say to them, what is said in the conversation. Again, you'll be getting your practice from dealing with the second group, as I said. So you will, try not to take any of their calls. You call them. You must have control of the situation. So you call them, don't take the calls from them. Try and ease up the contacts to the bare minimum of Christmas, Easter, the typical visits that you have to have with these family members. That, the wedding, they're going to be at the wedding, they're going to be at the christening, they're going to be at the, whatever it is, they're going to be at it. But everything else, you're going to start cutting back. Cut back little. So if they're calling you every day, don't take their call every day. What you start to do with them is you call them. Maybe if they call every single day, particularly if it's a parent, or something, you don't take their call at all. You call them back, and you limit it to maybe once or twice a week. And you give yourself a timer. Get an egg timer, something like that, or have the stopwatch on your phone, something like that. or have something that you can see the time ticking down, and set, say, a 10-minute timer, and have a series of questions that you're going to. So how are they? What's going on in their life? Be very attentive to listening to them. And then at the end, have your excuse. I have to go. I'm very busy. And drop in at the start of the conversation. I'm really very busy at the moment. Just giving you a quick call to tell you whatever. How are you? Checking in on you. Make it about them. Make that 10 minutes about them. And, let them ramble on for the 10 minutes. Make sure you keep dropping in the fact that you have to go soon. You're in a hurry. You're very busy. And then the 10 minutes are up, and get off the phone as quick as possible. In terms of meeting them, if you have to meet them, try not to meet them on your own. If you're meeting them, make sure it's a meeting in a group. Okay? Family events. You're always too busy to visit. You're always too busy to do something. If you've been a regular visitor and you're in and out of one another's home, it can be very difficult. But you can always be out. You can always be busy. And then, you go to their house, and you visit them, and you have time with them, and then you cut back again. You pull it back. So if it's something that's been happening again on a daily basis, I would cut it down to try and get it down to twice a week, and eventually then down to once a week, and then once a fortnight, and then maybe once a month if you can. And if it's been a very, very interactive, with phone calls in between, with a very, very interactive, tight, enmeshed system, family relationship, can be very difficult to pull it apart, pull yourself out of that family situation. So again, it's all about you taking control. It's all about you dictating the terms of the relationship, when you'll talk to them, what you'll talk about. You'll have your excuses, you'll have your questions, and you'll pull. And other than that, you're not available. And as I said before, you will have gotten your practice with the second group. I said, the first group, as I said, was about the ones that you can cut immediately. The second group is going to take a little bit more time, a little bit more work to get away from. And getting that practice in, and you'll be building up your confidence and yourself. You'll be building up your ability. It takes perseverance. It takes determination and resolution on your part to delete these people from your life. They will be attracted to your personality. It's your personality, and that's what they're attracted to. They're attracted to you. You're a very kind and warm-hearted and somebody who listens to them. And they feel they can dump on you, and that you've decided, no, this is wrong for me. So I don't want to go on and waffle for too long. So do check out, again, your foundation, self-care, and your boundaries, your own personal boundaries, plus the boundaries in relationships, and check out my codependency blogs. So, think about those. Think about yourself, what your personality is like, and think about the list, and make some cuts. So I did that, and I will talk to you all again next Wednesday, and the new blog will be out on Monday next. So I leave it there for this morning, and thank you all for joining me. And don't forget www.DeborahByrne Psychology Services, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.